let's design the meanest sound, the meanest bass you can ever imagine. Or at least very mean sounds. And I love mean sounds, and you probably do too if you're here. But I have one thing before we start. You can come down to the comment section and post a comment about what sound would you like me to create in the future episodes, because as in the previous episode, I've created one of the viewer's sounds. Yours might be next. So comment down whatever is your idea for super cool sounds. I'm going to pick the most interesting ones and I'll make videos with them. So without further ado, let's jump into the Ableton and wait. I'm BZLS and this is Sweet Sun Sunday. Let's go. Now, super killer, super distorted bass, super destroyer bass. We should call it super destroyer bass. It's going to be like a super driven bass guitar. Let's go. Let's stop talking, let's do it. Okay, so it's in my favorite, but you can find it in Instruments, Wavetable. Let's double click on that. And first things first, let's go to -12 semitones, so minus octave. Let's find the super cool waveform. It's in saw PW bass, because we're doing bass. And that's the cool one. We're gonna be just sweeping through it later on. So let's go -1 octave on our keyboard. Okay, very pulsating, which is well, very nice. Now we want an oscillator, which will be in the basics, so we're gonna be somewhere around here. We will see if it's gonna sound better with octave 0 or octave -1. I can assume here it's a super low, but that's good. That's what we're going to be doing, and we want then to design a little filter. So it's a bass, we don't need any higher frequencies. Let's add a little bit of a resonance, a frequency around like 500, because we will have some higher information, so we will need some of the higher frequencies. And let's change it to MS2 and let's drive it a little bit now. Okay, we already get that little distortion. Super low tones, and it's really cool. Oh, did you hear what just happened? I played 2 notes at the same time, and we get these frequencies clashing. So we want to change the mono. Let's add a tiny touch of a glide. Okay, super cool. That starts to sound like a bass. So now let's design the amp envelope. So we want the sound to raise in volume, but not instantly. We want like 7 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds. We still probably will need to do some space for the kick. So we might as well want our bass to start slightly later, which will prevent it from getting these clicks at the beginning. Let's listen to it now. We get this clicking when I press the keys really fast. So let's go to like 7, 8 milliseconds. And we don't get anything. Now let's slap a limiter straight away. So let's find it, because we don't want to hurt our ears or our gear. And we want this to be really pleasurable, enjoying session with the most meanest bass I can ever design. Okay, we're clipping already. So let's bring the volume down a little bit here. We will be driving it even further. Now we might want to use the unison mode, and we will. But the problem with unison is that the bass is usually an instrument that has to be in the mono fields, kind of in the center, because if you're going to spread it to the left and right, and if we have some phasing issues, the channel's going to cancel out themselves. So the bass will be very weak if played on the mono speakers. So we don't want that. We have to be sure that our bass is really strong in the mono and the center and lowest frequencies. But if it has some higher information, we can allow it to be a little bit on the side, because we want it to be like really harsh, really mean. We want some of the crunch on the top as well. So first, let's slap a cool tool that I actually grabbed for free. It might still be for free, you might have it, but it's not really necessary. I'm just going to explain how everything works. So it is Ozone Imager. That will basically, I will not use it to modify anything. I will just basically use it to see what's happening with a sound, with a bass. So if I press the key now, we have this little line, which is absolutely perfectly vertical, which means it's in absolute center and it's gonna play great in stereo or mono, doesn't matter. But once we start playing with unison and we're gonna add, let's say, classic unison, let's look at it now. You see what's happening. The waves are flying from left to right. The coolest thing we can do, and actually we should do sometimes, just to find a mono utility, and I think that's the one, and it's just the utility with the mono button present. So So let's see now. That's a bass which is made mono. That's when we turn it off. So we're losing some of the quality. If you listen on the headphones or on the good speakers, you might hear the difference that all the low rumble is kind of gone now. So what we want to do, we can use the same tool, but just change it to bass mono. And let's crank it up to, let's say, even 300 hertz. So all the bass that is in the sound will be mono. So we have this little thing slightly a bit more contained. Let's add another mono. Let's listen to how it changes the sound now. Okay, it is better. It is much better now. But we want to change the unison from classic to noise, which will help a little bit more, and we'll add a little bit of this crunch. That's how it sounds in stereo, and it's still pretty much well contained. Okay, cool. We don't need the imager anymore, although it looks nice. Oh, I might as well leave it here. And unison. Okay, sounds nice. Let's play with the envelope a little bit. Let's cut it a bit shorter. Let's bring the decay up. Actually, shorten the decay, and let's bring the sustain. Now velocity. We don't want that velocity to hit really hard, so let's bring it down to like a reasonable level. Well, you might of course want it in a different way, so you want to have a delicate bass and hit it really hard. So it's up to your preference what you're gonna set up here. Now let's review the settings. So let's go back to the wave here, and let's move it. Gonna sound like a phasing effect a little bit. So let's go to the matrix and let's find the LFO number 1. Let's make it really, really slow. Maybe not extremely slow, but like that. And let's assign it to LFO. No, to oscillator 1 position. There we go. What's cool about Wavetable is that we can see what's happening here. Okay, cool. Oscillator number 2. Will we move it? We might as well. Let's do the same on the opposite direction. Okay, that's nice, that's cool, but let's keep on digging. Let's make it even nicer or even meaner. So let's grab an EQ8. And let's shape the sound a little bit. Let's get rid of the information that we don't really need. And that's going to be the lowest bass. Below 40 hertz actually is something that we don't really need. Let's mono that. If you have headphones, you can probably hear it, but it's just basically pure rumble. So everything below 40 hertz can go. Okay, cool. Let's switch them off. Let's leave maybe one note, and then let's cut everything what's above. Let's add a tiny bit of resonance. Bring it up a little bit, and then let's find something interesting, some cool frequencies. Let's turn the audition mode and use Option or Alt button to make the Q sharper or narrower. So let's listen to something interesting. Okay, I kind of like that texture here, but we don't want it to be so hard. Let's add it just a tiny bit. Now actually I'll revert and I'll go here and I'll bring the Q down a little bit. Okay, so it's powerful and we see it's relatively in the center. Now we can drive the signal, so we can use the saturator. Now let's put the saturator before the bass mono and let's go down with the output a little bit because that would be too hot for sure. Let's go to medium curve, soft clip, actually no, hard curve, soft clip, and let's drive it quite a lot. Now let's play with some parameters. So frequency, we can color it a little bit more. Now let's try the oscillator number 2 on 0. Or not. And let's detune a tiny bit. Okay, now we're talking. Cool. I think it's really mean and powerful and really, really hard for, I don't know, what you can even use it for a rock as a synthesized bass. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. Maybe not perfect, but, well, we have to sacrifice something. And you can, of course, play with some macros and set some things up a little bit, but we basically just group it together. I will include limiter just in case. And let's group it together. We have some macros, you can play with these. And you can, of course, play with these parameters on the line. So sometimes it's much better if you do all the effects and it sounds cool, then go back and tweak everything once again. So let's even try with the different wave shapes and then add a sub oscillator. Not needed at all. Filter. Drive. Just EQ, maybe cut something here. And of course, you can download this patch for free from my website. The link is in the description box down below. Now, if you like this video, please obliterate the like button. Hit it really hard, just don't break your screen. And subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Now, would you like to become an Wavetable master? To know everything about Wavetable and to be able to create all sounds that you can imagine, because Wavetable is a super powerful synth. I happen to create a cool tutorial. It's just here, so click on that and we'll see you in this video. And I guess that's it from me for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next video. Cheers.